Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. This is our next to last Inspire 2026 workshop. For live captions and translations, please scan the QR code on your screen. And we're also going to be doing Q&As at the end of this workshop. So please send all questions through the QR code that will appear next to the end. And during the workshop, we're also going to have two live challenges for an exclusive UGC item. So don't forget to answer the poll in the chat and the QR code too. As a reminder, all the rewards will be distributed only after Inspire is over around August. So keep an eye on that. And now I'll hand it off to Gavin to talk about designing unique games and fun core looks. Hello, welcome
Hey
in.
everyone. Hi, how's everyone doing today? Hope everyone's having an amazing Saturday. I see a bunch of people in the chat. Awesome. I see the spamming of the happy face. That's great. All right, so let's get into this, everyone. Um, we're going to be going over designing unique games and fun core loops. This is going to be a beginner-friendly course, but if you're advanced and you have some ideas about core loops, you've made games before and all this kind of stuff, stick along. You may learn something new. You also, the chat's awesome and there's just great turnout here. So again, great, amazing turnout, everyone. But yeah, let's get into it. Alrighty. All right, so let's go over the agenda fast. So I'm going to go through a quick introduction of myself. We'll be talking about what makes a game unique, core loops explained, so we'll go a little bit deeper there. Some common beginner mistakes, putting all these things together, how to get started today, and we have a really cool interactive experience at the end called the game wheel. So stick around to experience that. It'll be fun, but I don't want to spoil anything now. So let's wait until we get there, and then we'll have an open floor Q&A. If you could, at the top of the chat, there's a pinned message where you can leave some questions. It is an open floor, so I'll be answering some questions, and we'll have a great time. So again, thank you everyone for hopping in. Great. So let's go into the introduction. So my name is Gavin, or Gavineo. I joined Roblox in 2007. I have been on the platform for quite some time, making games for fun here and there since Studio has existed. And then I professionally decided to take my career in 2018 to fully focus on making Roblox games and creating some fun stuff for people to enjoy and just have a great time. I've experienced across multiple indie projects that you may have played in the past or enjoyed, and also a lot of branded experiences on the platform as well that you may have seen or you enjoyed or you had a fun time in. And another thing to add to all of this, I'm a person who absolutely loves Roblox and just building games in general. If not, I would be crazy because I've been on the platform for such a long time. I would be absolutely nuts if otherwise. I always like to leave that as a note. But to get right into it, what makes a game unique? So a strong hook in the first minute, right? Players come and go in Roblox. You're on an ecosystem with thousands of games on it, right? You want to make sure your game stands out. And you want to hook those players in the first minute, right? So like when you make a game, let's use an example like a woodcutting game, right? You want to really make sure that it is polished, it feels good, there's something unique about it, and you all experience that in the first minute. So then you can kind of take that in, have that unique experience, and stand out in front of all those games on the platform. Another thing that's very important to make your game unique is a one signature mechanic or theme. You can follow a trend that isn't on Roblox yet that you've seen, or you can create a mechanic that no one has seen before, right? Getting inspired from things that haven't been on the platform or things like that, just piecing it together to make something really cool. But yeah, it's very important to have a signature mechanic or a signature theme that while people are scrolling through that dashboard, that you just stand out and you're like, that is the thing I want to try out because it's unique and it's fresh and it's different, right? So yes, that is something there, and then a reason to come back, right? At the end of the day, you're not making a demo, you're making a game. So it's very, very important that you create a reason for people to come back into the game, right? You want to make sure to hone in on that and really focus on that. I'll give an example, right? Like a plot where you create animals, but it takes time, right? And you rejoin the game, it reinteracts you into the game, and it's like I need to rejoin the game because I need to feed my cows or pigs or chickens, right? Like it's getting the person to come back into the game, so that's very important as well. And then going on to the next really important part is a clear core loop. So, what is a core loop? You may have heard the term, you may have not, or this is the first time you're hearing it, or whatever. But a quick question to chat is: does anyone know what a clear core loop is? Looking at the chat. Let's see if anyone does. If not, it's okay. We can go by the next slide. We'll go to the next slide. But if you do, I'm gonna go back. I'll read the chat. There's no worries. But let's see if anyone knows. So what is a core loop? So a core loop is the thing you do over and over and over in a game, right? It's the thing that you consistently go like, whether it's a wood cutting game, it's you chop the wood, you sell the wood, you upgrade, right? You do all these things. Whether it's your game's built around collecting, building, fighting, or trading. If someone asks you, what are you doing in the game, right? Like, what do you actually do in this? Like, that is your core loop. That is the thing that you repeat over and over again. And I see Jojo over here. Yeah, that is indeed what it is. But yeah, you can see the core loop here. You have the action, the reward, the upgrade, and that's just like a quick one that I made there. But it is the heart of the game as well, right? So it's everything else, like the map, the skin, the story. It's built around the core loop, right? It's the foundation. So it's very important to get the core loop first the right time and then decorate around it, right? The core loop is the true foundation of the game. It's the thing that you do over and over again. If the core loop is fun, the game is fun, right? Even without something fancy added to it, a good core loop makes players say, hey, I just want to go one more time in this game. And that's the feeling you're trying to encapsulate with the players that you get into your game, right? You want them to go like, I really enjoy this. And what they're going to be enjoying is the core loop. So really fast, we can go here. And this is Lawnmower Simulator, which is a game that I worked on with some friends in the past. And I just wanted to use this one to kind of piece it apart. It's easy to piece apart, and we can kind of explain the core loop here. So, right, you mow. So you get onto the lawnmower and you're like driving around and you're mowing the lawn. So you mow. And by mowing, you earn cash, right? So you're earning cash. And then with that cash, you can, upgrade, unlock new areas, upgrade your lawnmower to then mow again, right? Where you see we're going into a full circle here. So you're mowing, you're earning, you're upgrading, and then you keep going around. So like mow, earn, upgrade, mow, earn, upgrade. And now you got a lawn mowing game, right? And you really want to make sure that the lawn mowing game is very polished around the mowing, because people are just going to be mowing all day. But getting into some tips regarding core loops is it needs to be fun on its own, right? So strip away the maps, the skin, the story, anything that you're building around it. And if the bare loop still feels good to repeat again and again and again, that's a signifier that your core loop is strong and that you're having, a fun time playing it. It also works in layers. So, core loops work in seconds, minutes, and hours, right? As you play, right? Minutes being the rewards that you get, the seconds being the actions that you do, and the hours looping the people back into the game to re-enjoy the experience and go through the core loop again, right? So again, it works in layers. I like to look at it as like seconds, minutes, and hours, and you need to make sure that all these three pillars are very strong. And another thing, another tip is simple but fun, right? Games can be enjoyed by everyone. So build your core loop to be fun for everyone, and you will get a bigger reach of audience, right? The way that I look at it is the more people that you can have, enjoying your game, coming home from a long day of work or school and sitting down and just having a fun time and enjoying that. It just makes me more happy personally, right? So like I like casting out a big net. I like making a game that is simple but fun, so a lot of people can enjoy it, so I can get a lot of people in it, so then they can all have fun. And seeing how the chat is delayed, I will still ask this question and I'll look at it and see if I can pick a name out of it as we go. But what's your guys' favorite games? I'm curious to see in the chat. And we'll go into the next slide, and I'll keep an eye on the chat, and I might call out a name or two and say like that's a really fun game. Awesome. But talking about challenges and games, here's the first live challenge. So we can go into this really fast. As we were just talking about it, what is a core loop in game design, right? And I'll read the questions out to you. We have, is a core loop a bug that causes the game to crash repeatedly? Is it a type of level that loops back to the start? Is it a repeated cycle of actions that keep the player engaged, or is it a music track that plays on repeat? This is a pretty an interesting challenge. There is a little trick question there, but there is a right answer. But let's see what you guys think. Go ahead and scan the QR code. It's, I think, right there. I could be pointing at it right. But yeah, scan that QR code and get your answer in. And looking at the chat now, Baritone, I'm not going to lie, that is, I played that game. I've sunk a lot of hours into that game. I played that game too, Red King, once. Awesome. I think so if everyone has their things in, I think we're good to go forward. Awesome. All right, going back into the workshop, let's talk about some common beginner mistakes that people go through, right? These are things that I went through personally going through it. There's a lot of a lot of things to go through when you're trying to make that successful game. And let's talk about some common beginner mistakes. So one thing is building the content before the loop is fun, right? Pouring time into maps, models, and a story when the gameplay isn't proven yet. If the basic loop is boring, then all that work goes to waste, right? You can take that stuff and bring it on to the next project, but you need to make sure that the thing that you're decorating and the core loop that you're building around is a solid foundation, right? You need to make sure that you can put nice flowers, this and that around this core loop, but you want to really make sure that it's solid and that just from the core loop, it's fun. Another thing, we talked about it earlier, but no reason to come back, right? A first fun session is important, but give them a reason to come back. You guys aren't making a demo, you're making a game. You want people to re-engage yourself, hop back into the game, play it, have a fun time. And it's very important to give them a reason to come back. Because you're going to create a player out of them, and they'll be a part of your community and all that kind of stuff. And this one I know very well because I am ambitious myself, but the scope being too big. Game design is imagination, but keep it realistic at first, especially if you are just starting out. It's easy to build 100 features, this crazy game on paper, but putting it into action and creating those things is is a lot harder than just the imagination portion of it. So you want to make sure that it's concise, that you can get to an easy finished version of the game, or what people call in the industry an MVP. It's very important to get to that stage, so then players can hop in. You can validate if it works. You can get it out there. You can start getting the data and seeing like, hey, do people enjoy this game? How are all that kind of stuff. And you want to make sure that, especially for your first one, that your scope isn't too big. It is very important. And then slowly but surely, you can make the scope bigger and bigger and bigger as your team grows, or as you get more experience, or as you have more time to do. But again, I will ask the question to chat, and I will revisit it down the line. For any developers in the chat, has scope ever stopped any of your projects? I think that is the question. So yeah, just write in the chat. I'm curious to see what people say, and I'll see if I see any cool answers, and I'll call out some names. But yeah, has a too big of a scope made a game not release or anything like that? But let's go on to the next slide. There is a catch to all of this, though, and I will tell you this, and this is my feels good slide. Everyone fails, right? Every developer you admire, think about the developer you admire the most, has a pile of unfinished and broken games. It's okay to fail. It is completely natural in this industry. And going on to the next point, is where you apply those failures, right? You learn from your mistake, right? Each fail teaches you something the next project gets right. So take those failures, turn them into learnings, and apply it to the next project. And I guarantee you that the next project will be better because of that thought process. And then one thing that I will tell you as well is keep at it, right? No matter the failure, keep at it, and persistence will get you success, right? If you keep at it and you keep, putting something out there, learning from the mistakes of that project that you put out there, and then applying it to the next one, and you keep doing that, you will find success. I call it the 3 Ps, which is passion, patience, and persistence. And if you really embody these 3 things, you will find that success. You will get where you want to go. Everyone has a different level of success, but if you keep applying that and you keep going forward, you will get where you need to go. Awesome. Sweet. So this is just a quick slide I want to put everything together really fast, but I'm going to explain what the next 3 slides are. So basically, there's going to be 2 points. Like, we're going to do a recap of, uniqueness and a fun loop. Then we're going to go into a slide about why both these things matter. And then we'll have a fun little exercise that we can go through at the end of all this. It's just a little fun thought experiment that you guys can take and take away from this. But let's go into the next slide. All right, so the recap. So a quick reminder before we connect all these things together. So uniqueness is why someone clicks your game. It's why someone gets hooked into your game. It's called the hook, uniqueness. It's why someone is driven to stay or find or be in your game. That is what uniqueness is, or the hook. And then a core loop is why someone keeps playing your game, right? It's the thing that people do again and again and again in the game, and you can create it in a circle on a piece of paper or something. And it's this thing that they keep doing in the game that re-engages them. That just the standard actions, basically what we went over. So let's go on to the next slide, which is putting all these things together really fast. So why both, right? So why do we need both of these things? Why do we need uniqueness? Why do we need a hook? Why does it matter? Well, let's look at it here. So let's talk about the first case here, right? Is a unique idea. So you have a unique idea, but you have a boring loop, right? Or a unique hook, or a unique whatever way you want to call it. So the players click the game, they get in it because it's unique, it stands out, but then they get bored and they leave, right? You have a weak core loop, they get in, they play, and they're like, I'm getting out of here. I don't want to play this anymore. So then they leave the game. And then let's go into the next scenario, which is you have a fun loop, but no hook, right? That means that you have a game with an awesome core loop, but nobody clicks it to find it out. You're not standing out. You're not unique. You're in a sea of games and you're not standing out. And you have this diamond of a loop that's just hidden in there that no one gets to see. And it's very important, again, to have a hook. But going into the next point, which is both of these things together, right? You have a unique idea and a fun loop, right? You have people click and then they stay, right? And that's the goal. You want to stand out and keep people playing, right? That's very, very, very important. And I think that's the goal and the message that I'm trying to communicate in this little workshop here is to make things unique, make things fun and enjoyable over and over again. But going on to a question again for the chat, does anyone have any cool game ideas in the chat that encompass these 2 values, right? Like if again, maybe you don't want to share it and that is perfectly fine, but if you're willing to share it, go put it in the chat and I'll be reading through it and see if there's anything cool that stands out. Sweet. All right, but let's get on to the next live challenge. So the QR code, again, popping up right there. Take out your phone, take out anything with a camera, scan it, and put that answer. But let's read the question really fast. So which of these best describes a unique game concept? Is it a game that copies the most popular title on the platform? Is it a game with the most expensive items in the shop? a game that runs without bugs, or a game with a distinct idea that offers players something fresh? Let's see if there's anything in chat here. Sweet. Yeah, these are all really cool game ideas from the last question. That's awesome. I need to play like in real life some coffee drinking simulator right now. I think that's from Zach Gaming Pro. Yeah, let's get some spams of coffee in the chat. You can send coffee emojis. Let's get a spam of that going. Don't forget to put in your answer. All right, sweet. Awesome. All right, so let's look at a fun, quick exercise to, again, I said it earlier before. It's just a little quick thought experiment. Don't do it now. I want to keep you guys engaged in this, but maybe you can do this later. It's a cool experiment. You just need a paper and pen or even a document on a documentation app. But let's look at this really fast. So this is a fun exercise that I love to do once in a while, right? So pick a game you know, right? In this case, this is the first time you're doing it, pick your favorite game. Literally can be your favorite game, whatever one you guys play. And take a piece of paper out, right? And divide the paper in two sections. On the top, you can write the loop, and on the bottom, you can write the hook, right? And on the loop, you can literally draw, what you're doing in the game, right? What you do over and over again. I like to do it in a circle, right? So like what I'm doing over and over again. So like let's say it's a mining game, right? Like I put on the top, I'm mining, and then what am I doing after? I'm selling the ores. What am I doing after? I am, upgrading my pickaxe or unlocking a new area, right? And just draw that out in a circle. And then what you just did there is you deconstructed the loop of the game. Again, writing down what you do over and over in the game, and you just you broke that game apart in pieces in game design. And then at the bottom portion where you put the hook, right? Write down, and this one's really cool and it's very personal actually. When you write this down, is what was the first thing that brought you into this game, right? Like what was the thing that made you first click it? Was it the icon? Was it the thumbnail? Was it the idea of the game, right? Write that down and, write a little sentence or something like, I, joined this game because I absolutely love, mining games. I love not knowing what's right behind that wall as I mine that brick. So yeah, just write that down on the hook. And then what you basically did is you deconstructed the hook and the loop, right? And there is one warning that I will give with this though, is that once you do this to your favorite game, you cannot unsee it. You now understand and you fully dissected the core loop and the hook, and you really broke apart what it means to play that game. So there's just a fair warning about that. And I, at least with me, like I found myself doing that to a lot of games. And it's a curse. At the same time, it's really awesome. So the way you look at it, I just want to warn you guys before that. Sweet. So let's get on to the next topic, which is getting started. I'm just going to give some quick pointers on like how to get started. Obviously, it goes more in depth than this, but let's go through this. So like, pick a small idea and get it on paper, right? Write it down on paper. Think of a fun idea, something fun, something that you wish was on the platform, maybe, or something that is popular elsewhere, and you want to bring it to Roblox and on the platform. And then just go and open studio, right? Whether with your friends or by yourself, it's really up to you. It's fun making games with people. It's also fun making games by yourself. But just open up studio, build the loop. Even if it's on a gray box, it's okay. It can literally be on a gray box. It doesn't need to be fancy. You really want to prove that loop when you're building it because it's the foundation of your game. So don't make distractions of it. Showcase truly what the game is from its core, and then show a friend, watch them play. And see what confused them, what they didn't enjoy about it. And one tip that I will give as well is don't hold their hand too much as you go through this process with them, right? Like when you play the game. Feedback is very, very, very important when it comes to, just having proper feedback to improve your game, improve your core loop and all these things. And again, I can't iterate it enough. Like just make it simple. Put it on a gray box. Make sure it's polished so it feels nice, but don't make it super like highlight that core loop. It's very, very important, but it's super simple to start, right? And going on to the next part, I can give you guys an example of this. So going back to Lawnmower Simulator, you can actually see some footage here of the game. This was, it only took a month to make with a small team. It was very fun. It was fast. We did some really cool things. I believe this is when Roblox just released the terrain grass feature. So we did some really cool stuff. Like we made it, at the time, you could have grass only one color. So we had to actually make a tunnel that when you're driving through, it would change all the grass color in the entire world. But you, from your perspective, don't really see that because you're driving through the tunnel and you don't see the grass change as you're in the tunnel. But this is just a small example I wanted to give to you guys. Like again, it took a month to make. It was really scrappy. We did it very fast. We thought it was fun. We focused on polishing the driving, lawn mowing mechanic, and all these things. And yeah, it was really fun to make. So that was just a little example. Going on to the next tip, and a little thought experiment, which I love when new APIs come out. It's absolutely amazing. It's a little secret like recipe is building things around APIs, right? Roblox gives you powerful tools for free. Sometimes the API is the idea of the game. It is the core loop. It is the feature. It is the hook, right? The API could be that. Browse what's available. Sometimes there's new things and there's even old things that people haven't iterated on yet, right? There's Roblox comes in with like crazy physics, pathfinding, data stores. Sometimes I think like maybe every 4 months, I'm absolutely astonished with what someone does with the data stores to make something unique. It is absolutely crazy the tools that Roblox give, and then the marketplace too, right? There's just so much in the marketplace for you to use. You can also utilize that. But yeah, play with an API, like a new one or an old one, and maybe that's what sparks into the loop. Maybe that's what becomes the next thing that, the large feature or the hook or the loop or anything of the game that you're making next. And I actually have a really cool example. Here's another game that me and my friends made quite a while back. Is Delivery Simulator. I think this is the perfect example to embody this. You can see the videos here going on. We made a delivery game where you take packages, you put them in your car, and you deliver them for money, upgrades, get new cars. You get a bunch of cool new stuff. But we're like, it's missing something, and we're like, what does Roblox have that they do absolutely amazing? And it's the physics, right? They have awesome, awesome, awesome physics. So what we did is like, hey, we're driving this car. We have these custom car physics that are already awesome. What if you can absolutely destroy everything in front of you and earn cash by doing that, right? You can just like plow through fences, trees, garbage cans, and you make money from it. And I think this really made this game stand out when we released it and gave it its uniqueness and hook just from the get-go, because it was just so satisfying to drive around and just have a blast crashing into things while doing something so simple, being delivering a package, right? You're going to deliver a package, but now on the journey, you're absolutely causing havoc throughout the map that we have built for this game. But now going on to the next part is documentation and whiteboarding. So this part's a little bit more boring, but it is very necessary, and I think you guys really need to understand the importance of this, right? When you have an idea, please get it onto something you can see, whether it's a documentation app, whether it's paper, right? Get it down. There's so many ideas I've had, especially when I was deep into making projects week to week, that I just lost them because I never wrote them down. So I got into a process that, like, when I had a really cool idea with me and my friends, we would make sure to write it down on a piece of paper, on, a documentation app, writing kind of a simple core loop on there, what the hook is, just to understand what we're building. So while we're building that other thing, we don't forget it, right? It's super, super important to get that stuff down. You can write a simple one pager. What's the game? What's the loop? What's the hook? And also, this is the communicator to your team, right? Whether if you're solo, it's a communicator to yourself and more of a memory sheet. But like if it's with a team, right, it's how you communicate within the team what you guys want to build. Like, what are you building? What's the cool thing? Like, what do you want? What are the features? What's the core loop? What's the hook? It's that communication thing. Also, documentation can be completely cooperative. It doesn't have to be one person on the team, right? Everyone can get together, put down awesome ideas on the paper, and just like call it a day, right? And again, it doesn't have to be fancy. It just needs to be clear enough that you and your team or yourself don't forget, right? That's what this is meant to be. It's just really to be simple and to just like understand like, okay, like this is what this is. I saw someone in the chat say any recommendation. In reality, any. Just go look. There's millions out there. There's so many documentation apps. It doesn't need to be fancy. It could be very simple. Awesome. All right, let's get on to this one. I could talk about this for a whole other hour, but we're not going to take that. This is for just to wrap up this portion of it. But post-release and building with analytics. After release, make sure to utilize the Roblox game analytics to steer the game into the right direction with game design elements. This is super, super, super important. Roblox gives an extensive analytics service that you can kind of pull and grab and understand, what's the playtime of your game, what's the retention of your game, and they highlight to you what's important to get more natural discovery in it. And again, one thing that I will say is that there's no right answer to increase anything on this, right? Your world's your oyster when it comes to game design. You can do so many different things to increase things. There's not just one right answer. So I just want to be clear about that. But this is very important because after your game's out, it's important that you want to push your game further into natural discovery. So get those, analytics up, every day by day, adding in things. I think the most fun aspect for me about game development is getting out an update and understanding, like, I have this objective I want to do with the analytics. I see that playtime's low, so I'm going to get this feature in or this fix in. And then you wake up the next day, you boot up the analytics system, and you see that change visibly happen in the Roblox analytics. And it just feels awesome knowing that you made that change, that you impacted that many people in a positive light. It's just really fun. It's really exhilarating, but it is so important to make sure that your analytics of your game is healthy and that people are enjoying it, right? You can also set up, telemetry events and stuff like that to dig deeper into your game to understand the innards of it. But Roblox already provide a very strong, lengthy, service that comes as soon as you release your game. And we have one more thing before we get on to the little game that I talked about early on. But it is super important. It's the most important thing is to have fun while making your game, guys. You have to have fun. It is so, so, so important. I can't stress enough. I have a quick philosophy that's like, if you make a game or you and your team make a game and you're not having fun, the players playing won't have fun. So enjoy yourself, have a good time, have a laugh, get through it, and just have a fun time with the team that you're working on. Or if you're by yourself, have a fun time, with the people around you when you showcase your game off and stuff like that. It's super, super, super important. I can't stress it enough. All right, awesome. But let's get on to the game wheel. This was a little thing that I talked about earlier. It's a bit of an interactive experience. Basically, we'll spin it a few times, but what this is, I'll explain it now, is there'll be 3 wheels on the screen in a short moment, right? There's an action wheel, which is the first one, a reward wheel, which is the second one, and an upgrade wheel, which is the third one. There are 15 potential answers to each of these things, right? So we'll spin one wheel, we'll spin the action wheel, the reward wheel, and then the upgrade wheel. And there's 15 answers for an action, for a reward, and an upgrade. And we'll make a funky core loop out of this. This is going to put me on the spot because there are 3,375 potential game loops that can come out of this that will probably be funky and weird. And I'm going to try to explain the core loop to you as it spins, and it'll be a funny experiment. We'll do it we'll spin it 5 times, maybe 6, and then we'll go on to the QA session, which I'll answer some questions. So let me go ahead and change my screen very fast here. Awesome. Sweet. I believe you guys can see it. Can everyone see in the chat? It will be delayed, but give a thumbs up. And that means you guys see it. So let's close this here. So yeah, here we have on the left, here, let me reorganize my screen here. All right, sweet. So here on the left, we have the action wheel. The middle, we have the reward. So what you're going to be obtaining for doing the action. And then on the right side, the last one, we have the upgrade wheel, which kind of will determine what are we doing the action with, right? So you have the action, you have the item you're doing it, and then you have the upgrade, or the currency that you're obtaining from doing it. So let's go ahead and spin this and let's see what we get here. All right, let's spin the first one here. So what is the action of our first core loop? Okay, we're chopping logs. So our first core loop, we are chopping logs. That is honestly relatively simple. That's not that complicated. Okay, let's spin the middle one here. What are we chopping logs for? We are chopping logs for seashells. Okay. Oh, okay, it is seashells. It has. So we are chopping logs for seashells. That is a unique one. That's interesting. Okay, so maybe you're chopping logs for seashells. Maybe this is on a beach. You know, you have a beach setting. You have trees around on a beach. Maybe there are a lot of palm trees. Logging Simulator 2014. Yes, this is actually Logging Simulator 2026. All right, let's go to the next one. What will the reward be? I mean, yeah, but what we're upgrading? Boots. All right, maybe. Okay, so your axe in this core loop, you're not upgrading your axe, you're upgrading your boots. So maybe it's a speed thing. Maybe like everyone's competing over trees, you're on an ocean, and everyone's running around to chop down these trees. And you're getting boots that make you go faster, so then you can run around and chop trees faster. But as you see, it made a funny core loop. So let's continue doing this. Let's do this another time. So let's spin it again. So what will the action be in the next one? Mowing grass. We talked about mowing grass before. I think this is stealing the idea of lawn mowing simulator, possibly, maybe. We'll see, though. We'll see, because we're going to spin the reward. What are we mowing grass for? So we have, lawn mowers. You're getting under your lawn mowers. But what are you mowing the grass for? Bananas. We're mowing the grass for bananas. Interesting. Maybe this is a game where your character immediately as you spawn in, it like replaces your character and you are a monkey and you are mowing grass in a crazy jungle or something, right? That is interesting. That is very funny. But what are you upgrading? All right, if it went on lawnmower, that would have been funny. But it had to choose something a little bit more complicated here. So here we have pickaxe. So you are mowing the grass to get bananas to get a pickaxe. Maybe you get a pickaxe that maybe this is actually you dig deeper into different levels of floors where there's more grass to mow, and that's how you go down further. So maybe this is a hybrid of a mowing game. You mainly are mowing, but you also have a pickaxe that you upgrade to kind of go for, and you're a monkey because you get bananas. So there we go. We have a mowing, grass, banana, pickaxe game. So there we go. A little crazy. Doesn't really make sense, but that's the point of this. All right, let's spin it again. Milking cows. That's a unique one. That's a very unique one. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Okay, so that's a fun one to work with. So milking cows, like you're just going around. Maybe you have a farm, and it's like you get different types of cows, right? You get like, oh, I got a pink cow, I have a rainbow cow. Like how all those collection games go. But what are you milking cows for? Yes, remember the Workshop Banana game. It will have 500 million CCU by tomorrow. Someone will release it in this chat. Okay, so this one, we are milking cows for feathers. That is very interesting. So why you're getting feathers? This one's a hard one. Maybe there's a surplus of feathers on the farm, so you are milking the cows for feathers. But then what will you be spending the feathers on? Let's see. Okay, this is unique. A whistle. So someone said, please a cheese wheel. That would have been a funny one. A whistle. Okay. Maybe you have to obtain the cows with a whistle. So you have a farm plot, right? and then you milk them, and then you bring the milk to sell for feathers. But then with those feathers, you go and you buy a whistle to kind of capture more cows, right? Like to capture more cows, and you bring them to your plot. Maybe the whistle is the key part to get different types of cows, right? This was actually a pretty good one to solve this and bring it full circle. Let's do one more before we go into the QA. So actions. Okay, well, this one's a simple one. Mining rocks. It almost went to mowing grass, and I would have spun again. So mining rocks. So you're mining rocks for what? So, typical mining game, but what are you mining for? Let's go check out. Let's see what this gives. Okay, well, that's very basic. Pebbles, right? So you're mining rocks for pebbles. Maybe you don't sell them. Maybe you mine the rock and then you get pebbles, right? Like you're not actually doing that sell portion of the core loop. You're mining the rocks, you're getting pebbles. But what are you upgrading? If this lands on pickaxe, this is crazy. Shovel's still also very weird. I'm not gonna lie. Well, this is a very simple, actually not too crazy of a core loop. Great one to sign off on. But yeah, so you're mining rocks, you get pebbles, and then you upgrade a shovel, right? So you're using the shovel to mine the rocks, right? And then now you have a core loop, right? So you're mining, you get pebbles, you use those pebbles, upgrade a shovel to mine better, and now you have a core loop right there. So that's awesome. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, let's rotate the screen back to the presenting. Sweet. I think everyone can see it. That's awesome. And I believe we can let the person that come on, you can ask your questions here in the QR chat, and we can answer some questions.
I'm muted. Hi. Amazing. Thank you so much. And yeah, thank you everyone once again. Please send all questions through the QR code right here or also through the link that is pinned in the chat. And we're going to start. We have few questions, many questions coming up, but let's Zach Gaming Pro 1234 that was also engaging in the chat. He's asking, is it a good idea to use AI to design unique game idea and fun loops?
I think it's a tool. It's another brain to have in the room with you. I think that you shouldn't just create something and use it as your final answer, right? Like you use it as something that you can think with. You can generate something on AI, and similar to the game wheel that we just did, right? Like sometimes it might not come out great, right? Like the idea that gets thrown back at you. So it's always really good to go with your own intuition. It's a useful tool that you can utilize, but really like think it and sit back. Don't think of it as the truth that comes to you. Think of it as, hey, maybe it's another person on your team that's coming to you with an idea, right? And use it kind of like in that sense. That would be my answer to that.
Great insight. Yeah, thanks. Well, moving to the next one, Kathy212. How do you design a loop that holds up under a lot of repetition versus one that's fun once and gets stale?
Oh, this is a great one. This is a great question. Definitely, I think the superpower to that is building games with a lot of randomness in it, right? Like you can look at a lot of games that you kind of spawn in, and every single time that someone goes through, it's different, right? So you can build procedural events in the game and things that happen to make it feel fresh every play through that they go through. I think another strong thing that you can focus on is social elements, right? Roblox is a very, very social game. So building things where, like, I'll give an example, right? Like, let's say I have two friends, right? And I have this co-op game. It's an obby game where we're doing some crazy thing and we need to both help each other to go through the game. Now you have two potential unique playthroughs, right? Because you have two friends here, right? You have friend one and friend two, right? So you can be like, hey, I'm going to play with friend one, go through it, and then maybe 2 days down the line, it's like, I really want to experience this with my other friend. And then also there's the opportunity of just finding people in the game that you experience it with, right? It doesn't even have to be friends. Maybe it's someone new you meet in the game. And I think really in most Roblox games, capitalizing on the socialness of the platform is very important because of that.
So true. Yeah. Now from Explore Mash. How can I improve the average playtime of my Roblox game? I do have a good gameplay loop and some free time activities for players who aren't in the round, but some people leave right away.
Oh, okay. This is awesome. I love this question. I've actually had it before. Um, there's actually there's again going back to previously. There's not one answer to this, but I can give a tip for this game for sure. Check your onboarding process. Right, there's a lot of games on the platform. Like you have a round that's starting, right? So why don't you utilize the Roblox universe system to start the game from a lobby, right? So let's say it's like your game consists of 6 people. You need 6 people to start the game, right? So instead of having people wait for that round to start, now those players can go walk onto a pad, wait for 6 people, and then immediately get in it, right? Teleporting them through the universe place. Basically, what this does is it removes the whole waiting in a lobby system. You kind of just get right into the action right away with people. And that's just one solution out of many, right? There's, I think, sitting down and really thinking about these solutions, but that is one strong one that I've seen work a lot in the past with round-based games is putting people um, giving them the basically the option being like, hey, I'm in a lobby, but I can start a game in 10 seconds because I'm in a lobby with a bunch of people that walk onto a pad to start the game, basically, if that makes sense.
Yeah, amazing. Next from Casted. How do we broadcast the uniqueness of our game? Is it the title, thumbnail, description?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's all of them, right? I think you need to try to hone up all of them. Look at them as like pillars to your game, right? And like your game that you're putting out there is the thumbnail, the description, the title is selling the person that's about to click it what they're going to get into, right? You don't want to clickbait them. You don't want to say like, hey, you're joining this game, and then they get something opposite, right? Like I'm going to give a random example. Let's say you have a pet on the game and it's like it's pet tycoon, but then they join it and then there's a bunch of weapons in it, right? Like that's not, you're not giving a concise playthrough of that. But yes, I think uniqueness embodies all these things. I think like when you scroll through a page of hundreds of thumbnails, you do want yours to stand out. Title as well, description after they get on, right? That's the second point to sell them, because you need to get them on the game page and then sell them again. So I think being unique really is about that front facing portion of your game, but also about maybe the theme or the core loop or something of that is very important to be unique, basically. Yeah.
Right, thank you. Moving to the next one from Totally Ill Yes. How do you design a core loop that is both easy to understand within the first 30 seconds and deep enough to retain players for months, maybe even years?
Sweet, sweet. Yeah, I have a good answer to this one. You want your core loop to be unique but easy to understand. It's something, I think one thing is testing with your friends is the first thing, right? So getting your friends in and again, you don't tell them anything. You put them in there, even if you have a younger sibling, right? Get them in there. Don't tell them anything and see what they're doing in that game and see, is there things that are confusing them? Are there blockers? Are there things that they don't understand? But also, I think one strong thing, and it's something that I tell the people a lot, is yes, your core loop and your hook need to be unique and stuff like that, but features around the game as well to make it understandable and easy to digest. Take things from other games that inspire you, right? I think one big thing is, and one philosophy that I follow sometimes is the last game you played is the tutorial for the next game, right? So like if you play something and let's say it's a mining game, right? Like if you go really look at all the mining games on the platform, it's very similar the way that all of them function. But even though each mining game that's successful is unique on its own, but the functionality of the game itself is usually very similar to the last one you played, right? So that's very important to bank on that, and then have a good first-time user experience, right? Don't make it too hand-holdy, but make it simple and easy for them to understand. I think those two keys are very important to retaining a player.
Awesome. And moving to last question from
Mhm.
Eat of Weave. How do you expand slash decorate a core loop to improve retention metrics without too much too much complexity. In my experience, I've learned that simple scales fancy fails.
Yep, yep. I think going back to what I said before as well, I think this is funny that it adds on to this question, is go look what's already utilized and enjoyed by the player base of Roblox, right? These extra features you add around and decorate, it could be something that no one expected to be in a mining game, for example, right? But is super loved on this other game, right? That people already understand and have a feeling for. I think that adds to it and makes it easy for people to digest, so then you can retain them as a player, because when you start adding things around a game, to their point, it can get complicated and sometimes more confusing. So go around and find things that are you already utilized on the platform, that still keep your game unique, but when people play it, it's, hey, I know this from my other favorite game, and now it's in this one. That's amazing, and they don't even have to go through a tutorial to understand what that is, because it's a tutorial from the last game they played.
Gavin, thank you so much. This was a lesson for us, and thank you for also all the attendees for being in Inspire 2026. We're going to wrap up now, and we hope you all had an amazing time as I did. And you should also stay tuned for the next workshop coming at 4 p.m. Pacific time about designing social and multiplayer mechanics by Rad is my username. Thank you so much, Gavin.
Bye. Thank you everyone for coming. I hope to see some awesome, and I hope I inspired a bunch of everyone today.
Thank
Awesome.
you. Bye.